What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Garbear Fitness. We're going to be talking about a few different things today. Super excited to just be vlogging again and just catching up on stuff. So first things first, we're going to talk about is Hurricane Milton. Florida is obviously known for a lot of hurricanes. I wouldn't say a lot, but sometimes we have minor ones. We have our hurricane season, which we generally start with the rainy season, I think, which begins usually around April or so. And then around probably like June, mid-June, maybe early July, we kind of start rolling into what we consider hurricane season, even though I've noticed after living here in Orlando for the past 8 years that we generally don't get our hurricanes until probably like September, October. And then I would say by the first week of November, to my knowledge, of my experience, I think that hurricane season usually is just done. Obviously, every couple of years we've had really bad ones. This year, this one was very, very bad. Very odd in general, just spitting out all these tornadoes and stuff, and it set a lot of people back. So again, I posted on my personal Instagram, guys, but if you guys do have extra time to, help out different food banks or help people kind of like build stuff together, there's different organizations and laboring groups that are going to be coming together to restore homes and businesses and distribute food and supplies and stuff like that, guys. So again, it's really, really important to just, I just got done working out, so excuse me if I stutter, guys. It's really important to just overall lend a helping hand to your community. I mean, Florida is an interesting state because it's expanding so much in infrastructure. But it's very challenging when you deal with these natural causes and these very odd, just odd hurricanes that sometimes just come out of nowhere and they just destroy everything. Just very, very odd, a very odd time of year, but I mean, it is hurricane season right now. So, I mean, all we can continue to do is just build back better in terms of just repairing from the destruction of stuff. So, anyway, guys, I kind of wanted to chop into this because I normally don't talk about bodybuilding competition and stuff like that. I don't know why, when I've been like such a part of this industry for so long and I've watched it every year for so many years. So I'm just going to start chiming in on like different competitions because I watch them all the time. I watch the social media posts of the athletes. I follow a lot of the photographers and videographers, and like I watch it so much. Why don't I just speak on it, right? So first things first, we're going to start with physique. I have ultimately become a I've ultimately become a bigger fan of Ryan Terry's physique. I've been watching Ryan Terry compete for years. Again, I've been working out now since I was like 16, 17, and I'm 31 now, so go figure. But his physique, I was not very appealed by, especially for majority of his career. In terms of just the aesthetics and the shapes of it. I mean, I like Jeremy Buendia's physique earlier in his prime time. But I think that the quality and density, and not just the density, but the condition of a lot of athletes now is just so much more intense than when he was competing. So the couple of years off, I think, really kind of took its hindrance. But again, he's got a beautiful family now, and sometimes our lives just gear and change differently. Ryan Terry's physique, I think that the come up for me for Ryan Terry would have been last year. I mean, just the changes in just the size of his waistline, his front lat spread where he has his hands on his hips, because again, the physique posing is different than the Mr. Olympia posing. His overall just delts and his arms just look so full and just so much more matured now, because Ryan Terry was always I don't want to say he was a younger athlete, but I feel like now he's got that perfect Men's Health magazine look in terms of what I would look for on a cover of a Men's Health. Banks, I am a fan of his physique now too. Banks I think won physique 2 years ago, and I wasn't too fond of his physique at the time being, because I was a fan of the guy who won, I believe, the year before that. His name was Raymond, if I remember correctly. I think that was 2021 maybe. I love Raymond's physique. It seems that ever since, I guess, that he kind of got dethroned from that year, which I believe he placed first that year in 2022. He might have stepped away from bodybuilding or just kind of changed direction in a lot of ways, but I loved his physique. Just his waistline, his arm ratio, chest ratio, back ratio, delts, legs, everything like that. And I think a lot of times when men are competing in physique, because they wear board shorts, some people believe that you don't have to train legs, but a lot of these guys' legs are massive. Some of them might not have strong calf genetics or just train their calves a lot, but a lot of these guys' legs are huge, which I do think that despite the board shorts, you do need to have legs. And again, from physique 10, 12 years ago when it came out, which I think it was about around 10 years ago or so, those guys were like my size, like 160s, 170s, 180s. You know, now these guys are the same size and weight of like the 212 class of Mr. Olympia. You know, it's really interesting. They might not be that weight, but if you looked at the guys side to side, despite the height differences, they look like the same stature. It's crazy. So, you know, Raymond was my favorite at the time. Ebanks is someone that I'm looking forward to seeing compete more, and same with Ryan Terry. This is his second win, so congratulations, Ryan. In terms of Classic, it was very interesting because I definitely feel like there were a few athletes who were not at their peak this year. Dino, I don't think was at his peak for sure. I think his conditioning was a lot less in 2023. I also think the same with Seabum. I think that Seabum had enough to place first this year, but I think that next year moving forward, the competition level is going to change, especially with this huge contract with Gymshark now. I think that this was the perfect time for him to retire, and you know, it was just a very smart move for him to retire. And I think that he is going to be the Arnold of Classic Physique. Everything is going to be based off of him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Classic Physique trophy is a Sandow of Chris Bumstead, because his 2023 physique was insane, and I think that his come-up year, in my opinion, was 2020. From 2018, 2019, 2020, that year, I'm about to start making dinner, guys. It was amazing. You know, it was great. Dino, I wasn't a huge fan of his in the first couple of years. I think that his proportions and ratios are great now. I would be very upset as an athlete. I know that some people might look at it as like, oh, you know, Chris Bumstead's gone, so now I have a potential to win. But I feel like as an athlete, I would be like, man, I don't have a chance to ever compete again with the best Olympia Classic Physique competitor ever, as of right now. You know, I mean, he's got 6 wins, and I think that for any athlete to sustain that for 6 years in a row is going to be so challenging. So challenging. Jose Munoz, I think that his Instagram name is Josema Beast. I'm super excited to see his physique and coming up over the next couple of years. I saw him posted, I think, on Gilco Productions videography page, and I was like, man, this dude's got a huge future. Same even with Mark Fitzwater, or his Instagram I think is Mark Fitz H2O, which I thought was so funny. Another athlete that's got a phenomenal career coming forward with him. Same thing with Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack has an absolute great future ahead of him too. I was really looking between Samson Duda and Hadi Chupon. I think if Hadi had won this year, he would have been the first to have a competitor's, I don't want to use the word tantrum, a competitor's irritation shown publicly on stage and have re-thrown himself in first place and that I've ever seen ever in Olympia and ever in the Mr. O. I think that Samson Duda and Hadi both came in super more conditioned the next day in terms of judging. And I was super impressed by both. I think Samson's physique is going to be very hard to touch over the next 2 years because of the proportions he has. I think that next year, if he comes in even with a little more conditioning, which I think that this year was amazing, I don't think that anyone's going to touch him next year. There's a possibility Hadi could take him next year. I love Hadi's shape. I know a lot of people talk about how Hadi doesn't have a lot of genetic prowess in certain areas, but I love Hadi's shape. I love the shadow and the 3D density that he has on him. But Samson is just, he just reminds me of a maxed out Sean Roden, honestly. I know that some people think that Andrew Jack and Samson have a similar physique in some areas. I agree with that. Some areas I kind of don't completely agree. You know, but I mean, same with Keon Prodigy. I mean, dude's shape and physique are just, oh my gosh, like another guy you'd love to just see just jump into the open class, right? I mean, it's just, again, these guys just, they're just genetics, and the styles of training have just changed so much, the shapes and everything. And I'm really glad that even in this exit, I feel like we're still in this exit of this mass monster era. They're still bringing back these Phil Heaths and Sean Rodens and, you know, Flexitron Wheeler. No, that's yeah, Flexitron. Anything that where the waistline was super slim and was a complete X figure, but these guys are like over 240, 250 pounds, 260, 270. I think that that's the route that the Olympic competition is moving in. You know, but again, congratulations to all the athletes that have definitely stepped up and moved forward into their like top 5. You know, I'm sure 2025 is going to be amazing, and there's going to be a lot of hard competition. Unfortunately, I haven't kept up with the women's competition. I definitely need to start watching that a little bit more. But again, I've noticed that a lot of times my friends that are females or girls, they will watch a lot of it. So I'll kind of reach out to them just to kind of get their probing prospect on a lot of the athletes and just kind of start watching their careers grow. But again, you know, even with wellness, like when wellness came out, it was just such a cool division to come out. You know, again, with the women having super stacked lower bodies, because I know sometimes women in physique or even bikini, like a lot of girls were having issues of being too muscular in bikini. So I love wellness. I love wellness class. I loved when it first came out because it was just something so new for women that have that type of body structure to just really fit in and just hone their lower body. So again, guys, like this was just a really great Olympia this year, and I'm really looking forward to more. If you guys have any comments on that or like thoughts and perspectives on it, definitely like comment below. I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on who you might have thought should have won in any division. I'm super open to the debates and things like that. I absolutely love it. I think that Greg Duche and Louis Marco, which a lot of you new gen guys probably don't know who Louis Marco is. Louis Marco was the OG of YouTube bodybuilding reporting. I'm glad that he's coming back. It's just such an entertaining guy. Whether you agree with him or not, he's super entertaining, and he does have a phenomenal view on a lot of these competitor shapes. And you know, he generally scores these athletes around the placement range that they're going to get. So yeah, guys, and the last thing I want to say is, guys, be very mindful of a lot of these supplements today. And when I say supplements, I don't mean like protein or whatever. I'm talking about these supplements that are causing people to lose weight very quickly. Be very mindful on how these things affect your health. These things were not invented to allow you to continue to eat and live the lifestyle that you're living with a lot of junk food and drinking and partying and stuff like that. Moderation, guys, moderation. And just please be very careful about what you're putting into your body. Please be careful of these fad diets. I think the next video I'm going to kind of go a little bit more into what a fad diet is and just different types that have been out here for years and how a lot of these are just very temporary, sustaining, and just I'm going to do a little bit more research because I kind of want to go into explaining the seriousness of a lot of these fad diets being left on long term, and just in terms of overall balance of your hormones and in terms of overall balance of your performance. So again, guys, just please be mindful of that. Garbear Fitness checking out. 10% off on everything on GarbearFitness.com still, guys. So make sure you guys place your orders for the holidays. I know that fall is obviously here and winter's coming up. So one of the things that a lot of people have reached out about is the fall fashion stuff from last year, which is these sweat outfits, the tan ones, the gray and the tan ones. Yes, I still have those. They're very, very comfortable, and I highly recommend you guys try them out. And I do have a few more of the limited edition Golden Bear hoodies as well too, which are available for men and women. GarbearFitness.com, check it out, guys. Stay shredded. Please be mindful of your health, and I will see you on the next boom episode.